this video, we're going to be doing an in-depth review of the Quest 3S. I've had it for just about 3 months now, and I would recommend this headset to loads and loads and loads of people, but there are a few things that you need to know before you decide that you're going to buy this one. So when I first got my Quest 3S about 3 months ago, I actually had a bit of a nightmare with it. It got delivered to the wrong address. It got delivered to a care home, and when it got delivered, the lovely lady that it got delivered to didn't read the label, and then she decided to open it. Normally it wouldn't be an issue at all, but when one of my jobs is literally unboxing tech that was taken from me, I was very upset. But anyway, thank you to Meta, because they have actually partnered with me for this video, and they have sent me a Meta Quest 3S for me to unbox. Now, I have actually already unboxed it. I'm filming this after I've unboxed it. But now I can actually have the true, unfiltered unboxing experience. Oh, yeah. And now I finally feel complete. Anyway, so in case you were unaware, here's what is in the box. So the Quest 3S is like the love child between the Quest 3 and the Quest 2. It's got all the brains of the Quest 3, but it inherited the looks of the Quest 2. So the 3S can do all of the important stuff that a Quest 3 can do, but the 3 does it in a slightly higher quality way with some nicer additions. It's got a slightly better form factor, it's got pancake lenses. Essentially that's it. There's a few other minor differences. Now I will go into detail what that actually means for you later in the video. So let's start with the price. Now if you ignore secondhand and refurbished items, these are the prices you can get a Quest today. So there are currently 3 options that you can buy today: a 128GB 3S, a 256GB 3S, and a 512GB 3. Now these headsets currently retail in the UK at $289.99, $379.99 and $469.99 respectively. Now we have the form factor and the design. The Quest 3S is essentially the Quest 2 in terms of like shape and distance from your face. There are some quite significant differences, but in terms of like the size of it, it's pretty much a Quest 2. It's got the same boxiness, it protrudes from your face about the same distance, and that's not necessarily a great thing, because having it further away from you does make it less comfortable, because it's weighing down from further away and it can make it more pressure on your cheeks and stuff like that when you're wearing it. Luckily, the actual arms on it are the same arms from the Quest 3, which means there's tons and tons of options available for you for this. So you can buy any Quest 3 head strap and it will work with your Quest 3S. Now that should help you with the comfort and the stability of this, and the stability is quite important because it has the same Fresnel lenses that the Quest 2 had. The reason why that's an issue is because Fresnel lenses have a bit of a sweet spot, which means in order for you to get the best image possible, your eyes have to sort of be perfectly in the center of these lenses, which means if the headset shifts around at all, you're going to start seeing blurriness and you're going to be constantly trying to shift the location of your headset. Now, Fresnel lenses aren't bad lenses, and as far as the Quest goes and the Quest 3S goes, they're very good Fresnel lenses, far better than, for example, the Fresnel lenses on the PSVR 2. But they are more susceptible to things like God rays, blurring around the edges of your vision and stuff like that. If you want the best option, that is going to be on the Quest 3, where you get pancake lenses. The other annoying thing about the Quest 3S and the Quest 2 is that the lenses are in sort of 3 positions, which means if you have an IPD, which is the interpupillary distance between your eyes, if your IPD is between the locations set on the headset, you can't get the perfect IPD for yourself. On the Quest 3, you can manually do it with a wheel, which is obviously much better. Now, personally for me, my eyesight is actually in between 2 of the perfect things, so I can use it on the second one, I can use it on the third one. They're both okay for me personally, but neither of them are perfect. Let's have a look at tracking. Now, initially, I thought the tracking on this headset would probably be identical to the tracking on the Quest 3. In reality, it's actually a lot better. Now, in terms of the sensors on the headset, the 3S actually does lose the depth sensor that the Quest 3 has. So in terms of room mapping and stuff like that, it's a slightly less accurate. However, practically, I don't think that really makes much of a difference in any games that I've played. What it does have instead are 2 IR sensor floodlight thingies that sort of douse your room in infrared light, which means tracking and things like hand tracking as well are actually much better on the Quest 3S than they are on the Quest 3. I actually found in low light, I was playing a game with two headsets. I had the Quest 3 and the Quest 3S, and the tracking on my Quest 3 improved because the person using the Quest 3S was dousing the room with their headset in infrared light. It's quite funny how that works. But essentially, because there's infrared light everywhere, it can still see what the location of your hands, which means, for example, for tracking, surprisingly, the Quest 3S is actually the best of the Quest headsets at tracking. Let's move on to the Meta Store. So the Meta Store is actually very, very good. There's a massive selection of Quest games at a massive variety of prices. There's free games, there's paid games, there's mixed reality games, there's AAA games, there's small games that are really cheap. There's a huge selection which is really, really good. Compare that, for example, to the PlayStation Store, and you're looking for VR games on there, is a much more limited supply of games compared to the Quest. Now, what is also mental is that the performance you get on the games for the Quest is very, very good. Now, I've actually used an old gaming PC to try and do PC VR on my Quest headset, and it performed much worse than if I just played the game normally on my headset. It's a remarkably powerful piece of kit considering the size of it. Now, if you are looking for some great games to get on your Quest 3S, then here's a clip from a video I did recently that sort of recommends some of my favourite games. Now, Quest Plus is also an option that you can get in order to get yourself a whole bunch of very, very good games. Now, I love these games. If you want them, I've put links in the description. If you get your game through those links, it helps support the channel. So go do that. Go do that, please. Please do that. All right, deep breath. Walkabout mini golf. Play mini golf whenever you want. Essentially, it's awesome. The physics of it are a bit mind-blowing because it feels like you're actually playing golf when you're just holding your normal controller. You can even get accessories about it. I'll get onto the accessories near the end of the video. It's awesome. It's quite cartoony. The graphics aren't amazing, but it does feel like you're actually playing mini golf. It's single player. It can be multiplayer. It's a top game. Would 100% recommend. Trombone Champ. This one's a newbie, and it's one of my favorites. It's essentially Trombone Champ from your PC, but they've made a VR version, and it is just ridiculous and funny. It's just good, and you can actually mod this game quite easily. I might make a video on how to do that, but you can add third-party songs that aren't included on the headset. It's very, very cool. I would recommend it. I Am Cat. Become a cat. It's just very, very cool. I would recommend it. You get to terrorize a grandma. It's top tier. Great game. Blade and Sorcery Nomad. Now, this game is not very new, but it's a bit of a VR classic. It's basically a little medieval hack and slash game. There's a campaign, there's also sandbox mode, which is normally what I play on. You get loads of weapons. It's got mod support in the game, so you can do things like get lightsabers and Mjolnir from Thor, and you can basically just absolutely wreck people. It's a lot of fun. You have magic, you have different things. It's a really cool experience. Batman Arkham Shadow. You get to be Batman. Seriously, it's just an epic AAA VR experience. So I would recommend it massively. It's cool. Assassin's Creed Nexus. Now, for any fans of the Assassin's Creed franchise, if you've played any of the sort of 2D games that you get on consoles, this I think is a must because you get to have the little wrist blade things. Who has played those games and not wanted to have wrist blades? I actually had a toy wrist blade when I was a kid, and it was epic. But this is you get to do it in VR. How cool is that? Max Mustard. You're sort of hovering above Max Mustard, who's this little character in front of you, and you get to control them and do lots of other things. It's a really cool game, very different to a lot of normal first-person VR games. Lots of fun. Would recommend it. It's done very well. It's very high quality. Max Mustard. Mwah. Pistol Whip. Now, this is probably my favorite rhythm-based game. There's tons of rhythm-based games out there. For example, things like Beat Saber, things like Synth Riders, which are all very, very good games. Pistol Whip, I think, is my favorite. One, because you get a gun, which is just a bit cooler, I'll be honest, and you go around and you're basically shooting people to the rhythm. It's actually really cool. Now, there are tons of other amazing VR games. I'm not saying you shouldn't get any ones that I haven't mentioned in this video, but those ones, they have a place in my heart. They're just really cool. Just a reminder, links to all of those are in the description below. Go check it out. supports the channel. That's pretty awesome, to be honest. Now, if you do buy a Quest 3S, you actually get yourself a 3-month free trial of Quest Plus, which means when you buy this, you're immediately getting access to tons and tons of games at no extra cost. If you haven't done that, if you've bought one, do that when you first get it. You don't have to keep going if you don't want to, but you get access to loads of games. Why wouldn't you? Now, battery life on the Quest 3S is okay. It's very similar to the other Quest headsets. It's roughly 2 hours of gameplay, I would say. That's fine. For me personally, I don't think there's a lot of people that would spend more than 2 hours in VR on a single session. If you are one of those people that wants to spend more than 2 hours in VR, that is an option for you. You can get battery packs, so this thing will charge whilst you play. You can either have a battery pack that is separate, a bit Apple Vision Pro-y, or you can get head straps that also have a battery in them, which is a bit of a 2 birds 1 stone sort of scenario. Now, the microphones on these headsets are actually pretty good. When you're playing online, people hear you very, very clearly. I've never had one person once say to me there's been an issue with my voice whilst I've been playing with them. But also on the Quest 3S, it actually does noise cancelling for the room around you. So for example, when I've been playing on that VR omnidirectional treadmill, it's actually very, very loud. But even though I'm doing that, the microphone doesn't pick up how loud the treadmill is, but it still picks up my voice. It's very, very impressive. And to be clear of how impressed I am with it, if I'm ever recording myself playing a game on the Quest, I'm actually quite happy for the recording to just be the microphone that's built onto the Quest. I think it's not perfect. It's not as good as, for example, a dedicated microphone just for your voice, but it's actually very good. Surprisingly good. Now, there is an elephant in the room. There he is. Go away. Meta removed the headphone jack port. This obviously caused loads of outrage among many VR fans. People were getting trauma as to when Apple got rid of their headphone port. And honestly, I get it. I get why it's frustrating for a lot of people. However, hear me out. I never use my headphone jack on my Quest 3. I've not once used the Quest 3S and been like, oh, I wish I could plug in my headphones, because I personally don't use headphones with my Quest 3. The speakers on the Quest 3 and the Quest 3S are very good. They're not bad for a casual gamer. Now, if you want it to be the best immersive experience, then obviously I would recommend headphones. There are workarounds for that, for the Quest 3S. However, what I think would be more important for people who are chasing that best immersion and the sort of best experience is to go for the Quest 3 that has a headphone jack on it. If you're going to be going for the Quest 3S, you're probably a bit more casual with the gaming. You're sacrificing the pancake lenses, which I think are a much better upgrade than the headphone jack. So if you're going to be wanting to get the best experience, get yourself a Quest 3. Now, it's annoying why they don't have a headphone jack, but maybe it makes the headset cheaper. And to be honest, for most people, like myself, I don't think it's going to be a massive issue. Now, that being said, there is a rumour that might make you a bit happy. Apparently, I hear it on the grapevine that the Quest 3S and the Quest 3 may be getting a software update in this coming year. And what that might entail is us potentially getting low latency wireless audio. At the moment, if you want to use Bluetooth headphones, the latency is far too extreme to be able to use them with the Quest 3 or the Quest 3S. However, that might soon be about to change. So if you have some Bluetooth or wireless gaming headphones, maybe that will be an option for you. So in summary, what do I think of the Quest 3S? And also, who do I think should be buying the Quest 3S? Because I have recommended this to people based on their circumstances. If you want the best gaming experience, you should be getting the Quest 3. The pancake lenses personally are my favourite, and it is my go-to headset when I want to play games, primarily because of the lenses. However, the Quest 3S is still a very good headset. The only sacrifices you're making, other than the headphone jack, are things that you would have been identical to the Quest 2. And the Quest 2 was ridiculously popular, so I think for a lot of people, they won't even notice those things. If you've never used a Quest 3, you probably won't ever notice the things that would make the Quest 3 better anyway. But it is just so much cheaper. You can save so much money by going for a Quest 3S instead of going for a Quest 3. I know someone who wanted to buy a Quest 3 for their entire family, and I said to them, why don't you buy the Quest 3S? It's cheaper. The kids probably won't even notice the difference. And also it saves you a lot of money. That's what I would recommend for people. If you're going to be getting one of these headsets, get the cheaper one if you don't think you'll appreciate the better one. But if you definitely will appreciate the lenses and the form factor and all that stuff, then get the Quest 3. That's pretty much it. The other thing to mention is about sizes. What size software do you get? Well, if you go for the Quest 3S, you can get 128 gigabytes and a 256 gigabytes. That should be more than enough on either of those. I think if you're the type of person who sort of flitters between a lot of games, maybe the 256 would be a good option for you. Or maybe it would then be worth spending a little bit more, getting even more storage and going for the Quest 3. Maybe. Who knows? Honestly, different people will buy these two different types of headsets. You might buy the Quest 3S and think, you know what, I'm going to upgrade. I'm going to get myself a Quest 3. You might buy a Quest 3 and think, you know what, it's not all that. And then you downgrade and get a Quest 3S. And then you miss the lenses, because you will miss the lenses. The lenses are great. But anyway, that is all from me. Guys, thank you very much for watching. I apologise that I'm very ill. It will make me feel a lot better if you like the video and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Whoop!